Hello, it's time for another episode of It's Not About You. My name is Bob Benson. I'm pastor of Christ Lutheran Church. We've been talking about biblical examples of selflessness, and it was brought to my attention that there was a woman in the Old Testament who was very selfless. As a matter of fact, she intervenes for a very selfish person in the story. The story is in 1 Samuel 25. There's a beautiful story there about submission and deliverance. Abigail is a lesser known heroine in the Bible. She's a humble woman who was married to a wealthy scoundrel. Abigail combined her wisdom with her wealth to appear before approaching enemy to plead for the safety of her husband's household, even though her husband had treated David poorly. David and his 400 men are on their way back. They're seeking vengeance for Nabal's foolish response. But one of Nabal's servants informed Abigail of her husband's lack of social graces and David's intentions upon his arrival was to take it out on Nabal. And that's when Abigail jumps in. And she uses this response in stark contrast to the way her husband had treated David. Without hesitation, without telling her husband, she gathered food and supplies, loaded them on the donkeys, and then she headed out to meet the future king of Israel. Now, when David saw her, without a word, she fell on her face before him, bowing herself to the ground, falling at his feet. She delivers this most humble, heartfelt plea for David to spare her husband's household. But her request was not made of a heart of fear. It was from a heart of anger towards her husband. She admitted that her husband was a man of bad character. She reminded David that in his life, his life was in the hands of God. His enemies would be destroyed because of God's justice, and his own house would endure. She only asked in return that when she had fulfilled everything that he had promised, that David would remember her. And he does. He remembers her and rewards her in the end. David heeded Abigail's wise words of selflessness. She laid herself bare before the king. The king could have understood that this was Nabal's wife, and he could have taken vengeance. But because of her intervening, he didn't take vengeance on either Nabal or Abigail, but had pity for her. She's a hero of selflessness in the Bible. And that's that kind of attitude that we need to have as we walk and work with others here on this planet today. Remember, it's not about you. Every action that you make is about bringing glory to God. Even your salvation, which you benefit from, but it's not about you. It's about God bringing glory to himself through you as you become more and more Christ-like. So for It's Not About You, thank you for taking the time to watch.